Hello, everyone. Well, welcome to, I say, the last episode for now of the Doctor Who and Autism series. Because it's been a good series and it's going to be a great way to finish this off with Borna, who's from Germany. It's going to be interesting because I believe Borna is the first guest from Germany on the show, so it's going to be nice to speak about all things Doctor Who and a bit about autism too, because that's what the series has been about. Um, so, Borna, thank you for coming on to speak to me today.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me. It's an honor, and I've never done a podcast before, so this is a first. And I hope I won't bore your listeners to death, so that they keep returning to your future podcasts. Anyway, my name's Borna. If you are a fan of Doctor Who and you've been following stuff like Doctor Who Lockdown, you might have seen some of my work because I'm a musician. I'm a producer of music. I'm a guitarist, and I've done several Doctor Who covers, also covers of music from the show, mostly music by Murray Gold, but also I did the 13th Doctor theme when it first came out. And one of the bigger and cooler things I've done was part of the Doctor Who lockdown. Together with Emily Cook, we did a series of sing-alongs. We did three of those. The first one was the long song, and then after that we did Abigail's song for Christmas, and finally we finished it with Vale Decem a few months later after that. And chances are you've seen some of that. If not, you might want to go to YouTube and check those out.
Yeah, because they were quite fun, weren't they? Like to do. Like I took part, I think, in the last one. And it's quite fun. Like you look back and then you can see a little face on the screen.
Yes, yes, exactly. It was an absolutely amazing experience to do this with the with the whole Doctor Who community, and it was worldwide. We got submissions from everywhere around the world. It was quite crazy. And yes, I remember that you took part in the last one, was it?
Yeah, yeah. Because I only found out about it, I think, before, before I saw a video that you I think you shared on YouTube saying about like you can send it to you or email it, I think it was. And then yeah, I did it. I said I hope my singing voice wasn't going to be shown on there. uh,
I can guarantee you every one of your voices, everyone who sent anything in, you were all in this. And of course, since we had hundreds of voices, it's very hard or probably impossible to pick individual voices out. And that was the point of it. The idea was to get a whole lot of voices together that don't have to be perfect, because once you put them all together and make them one choir, they just kind of make each other better. That's the beauty of a choir. You don't hear maybe the faults of individuals. You just hear the whole that comes together from this.
yeah,
And it was amazing. I can speak a little bit about the experience that I had doing this, but what I'd be interested in would be hearing how it was from your perspective, because I imagine it must have been quite scary to record yourself singing, especially if you're not a singer, and sending it over the internet to some strange person where you don't know what he's gonna do with it.
yeah. I know what you mean because like it was because I think it was for me. It may be a bit different for people who did the first time round, because I did it the last time, and I did see the other ones, like well, not straight away, but I did look at them and I thought, oh, I shouldn't have seen this earlier. I like the long song. I like the Christmas song, but it was like because what it was really interesting because as well you got the end credits as well where you see a name on the end credits like you would in a Doctor Who episode like who's involved So for me, it was a really good experience because like I did share the video when it was released, like when you uploaded it, and then you got people who I don't even know, so saying to me, "Oh look, I did that too." Of course, we're not going to know who else did it because you only go know yourself, unless you knew someone else who was taking part. But on my perspective, I didn't. But yeah, it was great. And it like, how did you feel about doing it by yourself?
For me, it was a very unique project. I've never done something like this before. I have in the past attempted to create some sort of fake choir production because I don't have access to a real choir yet. And so I always had the idea, well, you can record. I mean, I do a bit of singing. I'm not a great singer, but I can sing a bit. Actually, I've been singing along with you guys on all three of the sing-alongs, of course. I did a few of the tenor and bass voices. But the idea is you can record yourself multiple times and then layer those recordings on top and create some sort of sound that it almost sounds like it's multiple people, even though it's just one person. So I knew it is possible to create a virtual choir with one or two, three voices. And I assumed it must be possible to do it much, much better if you have a lot of voices coming together, even if the recordings are not perfect. Like people just recorded on iPhones, or maybe someone's got a microphone or some kind of camera. And for us, it was very, very important to make this easy to participate in for everyone. So number one, you didn't have to be a singer. And number two, you don't have some recording, don't need to have some recording equipment for this. It was enough if you have just a phone. And let me backtrack a bit. Probably it would be a good idea to tell everyone how this idea came about. So the first time that we were in lockdown, I think it was, what was it, 2020 probably?
Yeah,
Or was it 19?
I think
COVID times, you
yeah.
know, the whole timeline is messed up in my head, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. So whenever it was, I was on Twitter and I noticed that there was something going on in the Doctor Who community. I stumbled across Emily Cook's first invitation to a tweet along, and it was about the, what was it, Day of the Doctor was the first one, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I took part in that. We all watched this first episode together, and Emily, brilliant as she is, not only managed to get a whole bunch of people from the Q community together, but she also got people from the show as well. So she had Stephen Moffat on this first episode, didn't she? I think it was Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, I think she
I,
had
th I,
quite a
th
lot
I
of
think,
people.
yeah, yeah. It got, she got more and more people as it went along. But anyway, so I witnessed this first tweet along and I thought, man, this is such a cool idea. And then she announced there would be more. And if you've been in Doctor Who Twitter, you know the whole Doctor Who lockdown thing. So what it became much bigger than it started as. But around that same time, since I was doing some of these Doctor Who covers on my YouTube channel, I always said to the people, hey, if you like this, feel free to comment your suggestions for songs that I could do next. And I got lots of requests for other songs that I could do. And one of them was the long song. When I first got this request, I thought, how am I going to do the long song? I mean, it's great, great, beautiful song, but obviously it lives from the choir. And most of my covers actually before that were mostly without vocals because I'm a guitarist and I thought it would be interesting to add to cover these Doctor Who songs and add guitar on top, which as an additional bonus gives me something to do in the music videos. Because otherwise I'd just be standing there and yeah, so listen to my cover. Yeah. So in this case, I play my guitar on top and then I can play the guitar in the video, so you have something to look at. But anyway, for the long song, it would be possible to do it with guitar instead of vocals, but it kind of would take a lot of it away from what makes the original so amazing. And since Emily was doing the tweet-alongs at that time, and I saw how cool it was to do some group thing, some community thing with Doctor Who fans, it all came together, and I suddenly thought, wait a minute, couldn't we do something like this tweet-along stuff, but instead of everybody watching an episode together, we come together in music, and everybody just sings their part at home, sends it in, and then I put it all together and we release it and have a big online party because of that. So that was the idea I had, but here's the problem. I don't have the reach. You know, I guess I did get lots of subscribers since then. I'm around 6.5 thousand on YouTube right now. It's not a lot, but it is much more than I started with when I had this idea. And it was clear, the idea is cool, but how I'm gonna pull this off? If I get only 2 or 3 people to participate, the whole effect will not work. Because as I mentioned earlier, you need many people to get this choir effect, to have the voices even each other out. And then I had the idea, well, I could contact Emily Cook about it. So I found her contact address and sent her this pitch. And I was like, yeah, hi, Emily, I'm Borna, I'm doing music and this is my idea. And luckily for me, she was really happy to participate and thought it was a great idea. And from then on, we worked together to make it a reality. So she did a lot of the production of this in terms of getting people together and producing the announcement videos about it and tweeting out to the whole Doctor Who community to make sure that as many people come together as possible to make this a reality. So that was exciting because it was actually going to happen. And then I had this other challenge. I had to make it actually work. So I knew the idea was cool and I thought it should be possible, but I didn't know until I knew, you know. So we did get, I think it was over 300 voices for the long song, which was the first one we did. And that was absolutely mind-blowing. I did not think we would get so many submissions in. And then I had a lot of work trying to synchronize all these voices because obviously everybody starts at a different point in their recording. So not all recordings they don't come finished, you know. You have to, like, one starts here, the other starts there. You have to move them in place so that everybody's synchronized. And once I did that, there's the other thing of you have to level them out because one may be recorded on an iPhone, someone else recorded on a camera, someone is far away from the camera, someone is very close to it. So voices are loud, some people sing loud, some people sing soft. And you have to level them all out to make them sound like a choir would. And I think I spent probably 2 days just doing all this work of leveling it out and synchronizing it all. And then for the first time, I went through all the 300 voices and turned them all on, because until that point, I basically just heard every single voice in isolation together with the backing track. So I had finished the rest of the music, the instrumental track of the long song, and I put every single voice on top of that to be in sync with the music. And then I went through them all and turned them on. And for the first time, I clicked play and heard all 300 voices come together, and I was blown away. It sounded so much better than I had hoped, because yes, it sounded like a choir, but not just that, it sounded like a good choir. It sounded very organic, and I don't know how, but even though it was all those different recording devices, it did sound like everybody was in one room together, even though some people recorded in Russia and others in China, and we had obviously lots of people from the UK. We had people from Germany. I think there were people in Hawaii, in Japan. We had Australia. I don't know. It was like really a worldwide thing, and everybody came together, and it sounded like we were actually together, and it was mind blowing. So it was at that moment that I thought, man, this sounds too good to just have it on top of the instrumental music, because that was the plan. We're gonna make a cover. I'm gonna put the choir on top, and that's it. But once I heard how good the choir actually sounded on its own, then I turned off the music and I just listened to the choir. And I was like, okay, this is too good. Everybody has to hear this. And that's when I decided that it would be a good idea, since we were planning to have the end credits that you mentioned. We were planning to do that anyway. So, and we had 300 voices, and it takes a while until all 300 voices go through, you know. So I thought that this was the perfect opportunity to showcase just the choir in isolation, which is, so if you watch the choir, the long song cover on YouTube, you will see the whole music video, and then at the end, when the song is finished, the end credits start, and we hear just the choir singing the whole song again. That was that. So that was my experience for the first one. It was a lot of work, but I was absolutely blown away by how many people decided to really do this, because as you mentioned, you did the third one, at least you knew the quality of the first two, and that it wouldn't be embarrassing, you know. So the end, maybe the process itself is kind of awkward for someone, but you know that the end result will not put you in a bad place, because it's all really, we paid attention to make it good for everyone. But for the first one, nobody knew what it was going to be, you know. So that actually 300 people decided to show up to this and send in their recordings. That was amazing, really cool.
Yeah, and then like you say, so for the first one, already like, how did you kind of promote? And because of course you didn't know what it was going to be, like the first time around. So how did you get these, like, tell these people like what was going to happen? Like, was everyone who took part like aware where it was going to be, like that particular song, or like how was that kind of process of getting all the people like that?
Yeah, I talked with Emily, and we thought about what the easiest way would be for people to get involved. So that's when we decided that we have to emphasize that you don't have to be a singer, and that you don't need good recording equipment for this. We just like we do it right now, we did a Zoom call. So Emily called me, and we did a recording where we basically announced the idea that we had of, let's take the long song, and everybody can just at their home, wherever they are, they can just take a pair of headphones, listen to the original, the long song. So the cover wasn't finished at that moment. We decided to use the original, the long song, and make everybody sing on top of that. So everybody was, we told them to listen on headphones to the original long song, and then use any device that they have available to film themselves or just their voices. So we had, like, there were two ideas. You could either just send in the audio of your singing, or you could go the route and be like, yo, I'm actually brave enough to send in a video of me as well. And now that I think about it, we did not really know what it would be in the end, because I did have the idea to somehow incorporate video recordings of people too in our music video that we were going to do, but I did not know at that point in time how we would do it. So the whole video thing was like, yeah, if you want to do it, send us something in. I'm sure we can make it work somehow, but we did not know what it would be in the end. So that was the announcement that we recorded, and then Emily put it up on the Doctor Who Lockdown YouTube channel and also promoted it on her Twitter account. And then, of course, a lot of retweets later, we had a massive following for that, and lots of people very, very interested. Also, a third thing, just so you didn't have to be a singer, you didn't have to have perfect recording equipment, and you didn't have to know how to read music. So sheet music was not a requirement for this. It was just listen to the original and just sing along to the melody that you hear.
Yeah.
But we did have a few like trained musicians who came in and said, hey, I'm actually singing in a choir and I would like to listen to the song and sing along while reading the sheet music, because that's what they're used to doing. So we did this as well. I did like a 4-part choir sheet music that anybody could use if they wanted to, but they didn't have to. And what happened then? Yeah, that was the announcement, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And everything started to move from there.
It's pretty cool, you know, because like I looking at all the 3 ones and like looking back, I kind of feel like maybe the one I did was the hardest because it is, isn't it? Because like
Definitely.
it's not an English like the long song and the other one you did, I think were more easier like with what you're saying, but of course like the last one it's really hard because it's almost like you're not really saying any words. It's not English words. And it's it. I found it was the hardest one because I was just guessing what I had my earplugs in when I was doing it, but then I was just I tried to do it with my best, and then you hear you. I heard myself back, and then I thought, oh, should I send this? Am I doing something I shouldn't be doing? And then I sent it to you, and then I thought it was okay in the end.
Absolutely, it was more than okay. That was the one moment that I think everybody had. Recording yourself, then listening back is probably the biggest mistake you can make at that point. Just send it out, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So because what most people don't realize is that when you record yourself and listen to this raw recording of you, even the best singer, the most professional out there, if they would do it like that if they would record themselves on some phone and listen to that completely raw without edits, it wouldn't sound so good. And the truth is that even these people that have been singing professionally, they still have this feeling, oh, come on, this doesn't sound good, I'm embarrassed about it. So to listen to your recording that you do at home without any kind of technical know-how about how to edit or record vocals, and then of course you start comparing yourself to what you know from the radio, which is absolutely not the reality, because we all know the stories about singers that go into the studio and when they come out they sound a million times better on the recording than what went into the recording. So that is important to know. You always sound much worse to yourself than it actually is. But the other thing you mentioned, yes, the third one was definitely the hardest one. So absolutely amazing to me to listen to the end result and hear how good it sounded, because we did have this idea to make a trilogy, because most good things come in trilogies. So the long song was the first idea. Then Abigail's song was an idea that Emily had. She thought that would be a great one, and it was perfect for Christmas, obviously. And I always wanted to do Vale Decem, because I think it's an incredible composition. It's a fantastic song, obviously, a very important moment where it appears in the show. But this too is a song that you can only do if you've got a choir. And we needed a really, really, really brave choir for this one, because singing Latin, that's not for everyone. So for this one, we did a bit more than for the other two, because for the other two, it was just like, yeah, here's the sheet music if you know how to use it, but you don't have to. Just put on headphones, listen to the original, and sing over it. But for validation, we kind of did a tutorial video. We did 2 tutorial videos where our main singer, Jana Marie Grob, who did all 3 songs with us, I gave her the sheet music and recorded her singing over the original, and did sort of this karaoke thing where you see the lyrics and syllables as they happen on screen. So I told everyone, this should make it a little bit easier, at least, so that you don't have to memorize the whole song. You can watch 2-hour tutorial video of the song and sing along to that. And I hoped that would make it at least a little bit more accessible. But it worked out in the end, so
yeah,
that was amazing.
yeah,
And
it was good.
I was really happy to see that as we did these 3 recordings, we got more and more video recordings in, because for the first one we did have 300 plus singers, but only 80 videos. Of course, because people did not know what would happen with those videos, and we did neither until someone I know had this brilliant idea that we could use the round things in the Tardis to put all the faces in those round things. And for the first one, you can see there's this our main singer Jana's on a kind of computerized virtual TARDIS that we built, and behind her there's this wall of 80 round things with people in it. Then on the second one, I think we had, for Abigail's song, we had only as it was a little bit less than long term, still a lot of voices. I think it was like 250 or something. But at this point, we had more videos than just audio recordings. So at that point, I had to figure something out how to put everyone on screen together, because we could either make everybody really small to make everyone fit. That's sort of, you don't really see yourself so well. So I didn't think that was such a great idea. But then I thought, hey, what if we had the same wall that we had on the first one, but we make it kind of rotate around, so that everybody would at some point get kind of a spotlight moment where they are in one of the bigger round things in the back. And for the third one, we had even more people. I think it was again around 300 voices and almost 200 videos. So I think the wall had to move to rotate a little bit faster for that one.
Yeah.
That was really, it was fun, and people loved the round things. So that turned out to be a really cool way to visualize this whole thing, because most other choirs that happened during the lockdown, you had quite a lot of these lockdown, it was like Zoom choirs that were happening. So you had these little boxes where everybody would show up
Oh
at
yeah, I
at
saw
the
that.
same time. You know, you saw that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's great. That works well. But we figured out a way to kind of make it more immersive, to make it more look like it's actually happening in the TARDIS, you know. So
Yeah.
that was much more fun, at least for me.
Yeah, it was it looks really fun. Like you're on the TARDIS and like you're going round. Um, and I think it was really nicely done. And like when the video I was in came out, thought it was good. Like 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 it you just you see yourself. If you've got a good eyesight, I guess.
A good what?
A good eyesight because for
Oh yeah,
like just to spot yourself.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
so you can see yourself and I saw myself a couple of times pop up and then I thought it went really well.
That's awesome. I did try to kind of make sure that everybody that's in those bubbles, bubbles in the round things has more than one moment where they're actually visible in the final edit. And I think it worked out. I hope it did. I hope I did not miss anybody anywhere, but nobody complained, so I guess it did
No,
work out.
nobody complained. And unless possibly you missed someone out, and they're going through what saying, am I on here? But like,
What did happen was we the whole thing was set up like you recorded yourself and then you sent your recording to an email address. And the problem was, especially if you were doing a video, you could not email the file because it was too big. You could not email it to this address. So people, we told them to upload their videos to like WeTransfer or Google Drive or something like that. But since we got so many submissions, I think we were not able to always respond to everyone. And what happened was we did try to respond to everyone so they know that their recording was safe with us. But some people did not receive a confirmation. And the reason for that was because we did not get their email. It wasn't a lot of cases, but for whatever reason, the emails did not go through. And people had sent something in, but we never received it. So I think it was just one or two people for the long song where that happened. And I was so sorry to hear that because they actually did all the work and they were brave enough to do it. And then just because of some technical problem, they did not end up in the video. So for the second and for the third one, what I did was I did this sort of behind the scenes. I shared some behind the scenes stuff on my Twitter account, where basically as I was putting people in the roundels, in the round things, I shared this picture of everybody that I had put in. So that was the moment where you could go in and zoom in on this picture and see, okay, where am I? Where am I? And if you couldn't find yourself then, and you knew you had sent in a video, that was the moment where you still had time to alert me that something was missing. And luckily, that really did work for Abigail's song and for validation, that we figured some people out that for some reason did not go through the first time. And we then managed to put them in.
yeah, like, do you think you would ever? Of course, not Doctor Who lockdown because lockdown is not there anymore. But like,
Hopefully,
like hopefully,
yeah.
fingers crossed. But like, would you do something like that in the future? So maybe similar to what like you done for the free. Like, would you ever bring something like that back and try and do it again?
I actually did sort of a mini sing along for last year's Christmas. That wasn't a big announcement, but I thought I was at the time I was doing a cover production of Carol of the Bells, which is this really famous Christmas song that everybody knows, at least people who have watched Home Alone, because it's this really cool scene where the song starts playing as little Kevin, is running back home to prepare his home for the burglars that are about to come. Anyway, so this song has always been one of my favorite Christmas songs, and I thought, this is a really good thing, especially since it's kind of the whole melody and everything is very dark. It's a very dark Christmas song, and I thought, well, it almost sounds like it was composed by someone that likes heavy metal. So obviously it wasn't, because when it was composed, nobody had heard of heavy metal. It hadn't been invented for the next probably 80 years or so. But the whole tonality of it was so dark and moody that I thought this would sound really good if played by a band, like a rock band. And since I've done a few collaborations with Jana Marie Grob, the soprano from our sing-alongs, she has a music project that is called Mesdames Musicales. It's the three girls that you see in some of my videos. So you have Jana on the vocals, you have Pauline Grob, which is Jana's sister, on the piano, and then you have Sarah Berge. You have her on violin, and actually she was the first one that I collaborated with on my Doctor Who covers. She played the violin on my Shepherd's Boy cover and several others. Anyway, losing the point here. So we teamed up to do the Carol of the Bells cover, and since all of them do a bit of singing, we decided, hey, we should kind of start the song with the choir version. So the original is just choir. It's just a cappella choir all the time. And the idea was to start with that and then transition into the rock band. And at the end, we have kind of both together. It's the rock band with the choir on top. But since we were doing a choir anyway, I thought, hey, this would be another great opportunity to get some people from the community involved in this. And I just did a little shout out on my Twitter account to my most loyal followers, I guess, who saw this. And we had several of those thought it was a great idea when they participated. So this was kind of a mini sing-along opportunity for those that really liked to do this sort of thing. It wasn't Doctor Who, but it was some fun thing to do. And to answer your question, so yes, I did do one of those, and I'm not ruling out doing something like this in the future. So it might even be a Doctor Who production if I'm doing something like that again. For example, I have a big list of Doctor Who tracks that I love that I still haven't covered that I would like to do at some point. And maybe in one of those, there might be some kind of choir that would be a good spot for some people from the community to send something in.
Could I give you a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Because my favorite episode in Doctor Who is The Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh yeah.
And I love that episode, and I was like, you could do like Madame de Pompadour's theme maybe track on something, because although that's sad, like Doomsday, that's a sad song, but I know you've done that one. But you could do that. Like it's a good one. I don't know. You could possibly get like an image of the Madame de Pompadour on the episode, or like just coinciding with whatever you do, or if you want to get a choir, if you don't, just want to do it, you playing your guitar. I think that might be an idea.
That is an excellent suggestion. And tell you what, it's already on my to-do list.
Is it?
It is one of the really good Murray Gold compositions. I mean, let's be honest, he's done amazing work for the whole show. And this one, for some reason, a lot of people really like it. I mean, it was an excellent episode, but the theme is really good.
Yeah,
I really like that one. It is very soft and sad. So the question would be, how would that translate to a guitar recording? I don't know yet, but I would love to do it at some point.
Yeah,
that is one of those.
Like you like, because the gardens, if you ever do have a trip like to the UK, it's of course most of it is in Cardiff, and I think you have the gardens like off the wall where that 10th Doctor David Tennant went out on the wall, didn't they, to duck on to see like the outside bit, the scene what was on the outside. So I don't know, you could possibly do it there, like if you wanted to do a location, you didn't have to, but like if that helped, I guess.
Oh, that is a good idea, because yeah, you saw my Doomsday cover, and for that one, I think this was probably from all the videos that I've done, it's my favorite, because I mean the video shooting itself was my favorite, because for a lot of the other ones I relied on green screen, so they were just recorded in my living room. I put a big green screen behind me, and then I had to do hours of post-production on my computer to make it look like, for example, in The Shepherd's Boy, that I was standing on the sets of the show. that was like months of work to make that one. But for Doomsday, which I did right after The Shepherd's Boy, I had this idea, oh man, I don't want to spend so much time in front of the computer for this one. But this one has the bonus that it's a real location that you can go to. And of course, I live in Germany. I'm like probably, I think it's 700 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers away from the beach where they shot Doomsday. But I had this idea, hey, how about I go on vacation, do a little bit of a road trip through the UK, and then when I'm in Wales, in that area close to Cardiff, I can go to that beach.
Yeah.
And that's just what we did. We did a 2-week trip, saw a lot of great stuff in England, went up to Wales, went to Cardiff. I did not go to the gardens. For some reason I did not know about it. I did went to the castle where they shot Heaven Sent. Actually, they shot it at 2 castles. So there's this one which I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation of it. It's like Caerphilly Castle.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which that one's in sort of like a bit out of Cardiff. That one was great. What was funny is I was still working on the Shepherd's Boy video production at that point. And when we went to the castle, I took the opportunity to look at the real world location. So they did not shoot the whole episode in this castle, but I did find like there's this scene where this really long table where Peter Capaldi sits at. Sort of looks like a ballroom or something. That is kind of the first room that you get in when you enter the castle. So this was really cool to see because it helped me to get kind of a feel for the dimensions of this room. Because when you do green screen, you have to be very careful to not just the lighting of your scene. So I have to have the same lighting like the background that I'm going to be put over, but also you have to make sure that the camera angle is just right. And when I looked at the scenes where Peter Capaldi was walking through this ballroom or whatever it is, I did not really understand where the camera was positioned. And only once I entered this room in real life was that I realized, oh, okay, so this is how the room looks. So I have to put the camera kind of in a very low position to get this look that they got when they shot the episode. So this helped me to not just get the lighting right, but also the camera angle to make it all look somewhat real when I put myself over the backgrounds for the final video. Anyway, what did I want to say? Yeah, so we went to that castle and we did not go to Cardiff Castle, which was the other one. So I did not see that one. But then after that, we were able to go to the beach where they shot Doomsday. But tell you what, it was just around Easter. It was like Easter Sunday. And the whole place, the whole beach was packed with people. So you can't shoot a video like that. I mean, I could just stand there, play my guitar, and everybody would look at me like, what's this idiot doing there? You know, so, because I'm the only one who hears the music. So everyone's like, why is he playing electric guitar at the beach and you can't hear anything? Anyway, I did not want to do this because, of course, you would see in the background, you would see all the people and everything. So the good thing was I did suspect something like this could happen, and we got like a great B&B in the area, so we could stay for 2 more nights and hopefully find some time of day where there was nobody at the beach. And you know what helped me? It was the really bad Welsh weather, because nobody goes to the beach when it's raining. So that helped a lot, because the next day we were like sitting in a restaurant and all of a sudden it started raining. And we were like, this is the perfect opportunity. Let's head to the beach and see if we can shoot it now. And really, it was perfect because the whole beach, it was completely cleared out. Nobody was there. So we had like a time window of, I think, 20 minutes to just do a thing there before people started showing up again with their dogs and stuff. But that was really cool. We were just like, okay, get the guitar out. Look, camera girl, I'm walking down the beach. You're just gonna shoot me in slow motion. So we have a bit of footage of that, which I used for the complete beginning part before the guitar kicks in. And then we had the song play, and I did like 3 takes of that from various perspectives, and that was so cool to do. One, because it looked really cool in the end video, but also because as a fan of Doctor Who, of course, this is a kind of one of the more special places that you can visit, you know, and it felt really kind of magical to be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I'm going to, I've never been to Cardiff, but I'm going next. I'm going in September. Well, this episode will be released by September, so I'll be going in September. And I've got my own, like, you know, River Songs Diary. So I've written all the locations that I want to go to. I probably won't go to all of them, but like the beach is on my list because, of course, it's like you can't not go to the beach. And yeah, like that, I've got a few locations like in mind to go to. Like you have like where the 11th hour scenes were. You like got human nature scenes, like loads that you can go to. You know, and you even got the face of the Raven Trap Street,
Oh yeah,
down there. So
and there's Clara's Diner too, but I'm not sure if it's still open though.
I'm not sure. I know it was. I know there's the Trap Street. I think it's just a street or something. But um, they got the cafes, haven't they? So it's if you like Doctor Who or if you adore it, so you can't not go to Cardiff.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go at the right time, you might even catch some filming going on.
Maybe,
That would
maybe.
be cool.
Yeah, I think I think they might be filming in November, like for Ncuit Gatwa's series. Oh, of Doctor Who. But with like Doctor Who, like, do you have like a favorite Doctor of yours, or do you just like them all?
Oh, I like them all, but yes, there is one favorite, or actually 2 favorites. I I'm always having I'm having a hard time deciding between Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant because they were my first 2 doctors that I witnessed, you know. So and what I really liked about them was I did get the feeling once Christopher Eccleston regenerated, which much too soon, of course.
Oh
But
yeah,
once that happened and David Tennant came along, it did feel sort of, to me at least, like, yeah, this is the same person, just with a different. Of course, David Tennant's doctor does things a bit different. He has his own thing, but it did feel like kind of an evolution of the same character. And some of the other changes were more drastic, I felt. You know, when you go from David Tennant to Matt Smith, it's
yeah,
much more drastic than the first 2. At least that's how it felt to me. And then even Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi is like worlds apart in character. That's how it felt to me.
yeah, yeah.
And
Like
then
I was
again,
just saying,
from Capaldi to Jodie Whittaker is almost like Whittaker is closer to. It's like if we had Christopher Eccleston going to David Tennant and then going to Jodie Whittaker, that might have been a more like from the characters, it would have been closer
yeah, yeah.
in
Like
that respect.
yeah, like I see that. Like for me, I started with Ninth Doctor 2, and like my favorite is David Tennant, and like I because like at that time of the show, it was I think the fourth series was great. Like you had 20 episodes. You don't normally get 20 episodes in a series now. It's but when Peter Capaldi, I liked his last series. I did like, you know, when you get into a Doctor like you maybe Chris Wilson, David Tennant. I didn't really get that along the lines for Peter Capaldi straight away. It took time for him. So I enjoyed his last series. Um, and then yeah, and like you had Murray Gold, wonderful music all the way along the line, and um, hopefully, would you like to see him back for Ncuit Gatwa's series, or would you rather see another composer?
Oh, this is a great question. I mean, I'm a big fan of Murray Gold, so getting more Murray Gold music, new Murray Gold music, and especially in combination with Doctor Who, is the best thing you can get. So I would not say no to this. I would be really happy to see him back. And of course, both of us, since David Tennant is our favorite Doctor, we
Yeah,
are very lucky right now that we are actually getting more from him. So that is great too.
yeah,
A different composer coming in, or maybe oh no, we did get news that Akinola is leaving,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's leaving.
Exactly. So it would be either somebody completely different or Marigold. Well, I would make a guess and say if Russell T is bringing back David Tennant, I'm having a hard time believing he's not bringing back Murray Gold. Now,
Mm,
that's the possibility that maybe Murray Gold, after like working 10 years or however long it was on this one show, maybe he has this internal struggle that maybe he doesn't want to do it anymore because he may feel that he's done his part or something like that, which we don't know. But from a fan perspective, I think there's no reason not to want Murray Gold back. That that would be really really cool. I mean, the whole thing is kind of a revival of the first four seasons, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Or first,
yeah,
like not season one because that was Christopher Eccleston, but season 2 to 4, like it's the team coming back together,
yeah. Like
and I'm really excited about that.
it is because you've got like I listen to his music all the time. Um, all the time I listen to Murray Gold's music, and he's gold. He's got a good surname, so, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
But I love lots of his music is so good, and nothing against like the composer with Jodie Whittaker's series, but um, it's not at the standard that it used to be. Like like I couldn't tell you um about like hardly any tracks that I would know. Like maybe the 13th theme. I'm not sure if he did the Captain Jack's kind of entrance music. I'm not sure he did that. Um, but there is some okay tracks in there, but not enough to remember. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. From a composer's perspective, I can tell you that sometimes, of course, we don't know because we're not in the production, but what can happen sometimes is that a composer has a certain idea what to do about the music in a show, but then there's a showrunner, and he may have a completely different idea about what the music is supposed to do. And then there's the director and the producer, and all these people that are like above the composer and that actually have the final say about what the music is supposed to do. So we never know, is it really Akinola's vision that he has fully like produced the way he thought it should be, or is this maybe because the producer or director or Chris Chibnall himself had this idea, hey, let's make Doctor Who sound more modern? Because that's the thing. If you look at movies from the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s even, the film music that we had back then was completely different to what we have now. It used to be much more melody driven. And you used to go out of the cinema and you had this tune stuck in your ears and you were humming it. Like if you ever went to a Star Wars movie, you went out of it and of course you were going like da 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 da. That
Yeah,
was the thing. And at some point, for whatever reason, producers and directors that were more modern started to decide that they did not want this. They did not want to have this effect because they had the feeling that if the thing that people remember about their movie is the music, then they don't remember the movie. They're just having the music stuck in their ear, or that the music is kind of distracting the viewer from what's actually happening in the scene. And I think one of the things that you can really say about Murray Gold's music is that it is distracting in a very good way, but it is distracting. I remember when I started watching the show in 2005, I had lots of moments where the music was so good and so in your face that it really captured me, but kind of took me out of the show too, because I was just sitting there, man, this music is great. Whoever's doing this is doing an amazing job. And this is the thing that a lot of new producers, directors, they don't like that. So maybe, who knows? Maybe that's the direction that Akinola was given.
Yeah.
So his style is definitely much more modern than what we've got from Murray Gold, because as you say, you remember the 13th Doctor theme, and there are a couple of other moments, like there's the fam theme that sometimes plays when they are kind of in a good mood together. And then there's the Tardis theme, like for the first time when we see in the Ghost Monument, when she, for the first time, when she powers it up, and we hear this music that is a little bit similar to the 13th Doctor theme, but different.
Yeah.
That is another theme that I noticed in there. But what he does more often than not is he takes these themes and he does not repeat them exactly as they were before, but he kind of changes them all the time and weaves them into the scene in a different kind of way. Kind of imagine if you had a happy theme and there's a happy scene, then it works. But then all of a sudden you have a sad scene, but you want to use the same music. It doesn't really work. But what Akinola would do, he would take this happy theme, change, like take the happy notes out and put the sad notes in their place. And all of a sudden you have the kind of the same structure, but it's all of a sudden it's a sad music for a sad scene. That's kind of the thing that he has been doing. But yeah, it's not very flashy, you know, it's not like in your face. It's not music that you, after the episode is over, you're like, yeah, there it was again. We heard the Doctor's theme for the millionth time.
Yeah.
With Akinola, you're more often than not, you're left wishing to hear this theme and you're not getting it.
It's not like before. Like you have normally a character on their own has a theme as some such. Like you have Donna, you could know Donna's theme by which would make sense to bring that back. You know, like when she's in the 60th, like it would make sense to bring Donna's theme back. Like because it's not back, you kind of think, I can't see Russell not bringing that kind of thing back, but you know, like Yaz, like you said about like the fam theme, they have the fam theme, but they don't have Yaz. Don't really have her own separate theme for her character, or Dan. I don't think Dan does, or Graham or Ryan, or so. It's not like I think because they changed the whole lot, didn't they? Once Peter Capaldi left, the whole kind of team left, or all kind of new kind of stuff coming in, which can be good sometimes. It is good to change things about. But it's not always good to go back. But knowing that, you know, it is, I suppose, a bit desperate in a way because the viewers haven't been as good as like in the past. You know, like which it's not the actor's fault. It's certain things that can happen in acting. Not everything goes to plan. So I guess like bringing back people that you know that we loved, like with episodes like that you're gonna remember all the time, and not that you're not gonna remember it. It's just that you need to change things every once in a while, and not all the time they work, but sometimes they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. The show has been around for what, 60 years now, right? So it's actually when you talk about the viewership decreasing, actually it's kind of a miracle that the show is still around.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
And it doesn't matter if whatever Doctor is your favorite or not, and or the showrunner or the composer or whatever. And the beauty of this thing is it keeps going. And even if you do not like a certain kind of era, there's always the next one. Let's just enjoy that we even get anything from them anymore. And as long as the show is not cancelled, all is good.
Yeah, like as long as it's there, like well, it makes us happy, you know. Like you're gonna have like, do you find it when Doctor Who's on? Do you find it's easy to access, like in Germany?
That's the thing, yeah, because obviously, I guess you watch it on BBC One.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't really have that here. I'm not sure if there's some kind of subscription service that we could get to watch that. But then, I mean, we get one episode like every couple of months, so it wouldn't make sense for me to subscribe to BBC One just because of that. But what I can do is I can go to iTunes, and I don't get the episode immediately because it's like I think it's live on BBC One, and once it aired, a few hours later, then it pops up on iTunes. And that is the moment when I finally get to buy the thing, and then I can watch it at home,
yeah.
which gets pricey, but that's the price I'm willing to pay for this, you know.
Do you would you think maybe something like Disney Plus, which or a platform like that where like or another similar where people can access it from different countries? Do you think that would be useful for like uh, so you can subscribe to something where not just Doctor Who goes on there, other things where you can access it like that?
That would be perfect. I mean, Doctor Who was on Netflix for a long time.
Yeah, it was.
You
Yeah,
know, I think it wasn't the whole thing. It was like seasons 5 to 10 or five to
yeah,
nine, something like that. I did watch a lot of them on Netflix back then. It would be great. I think I heard something about Disney Plus being in contact about getting the rights to show Doctor Who on there, but I think it would be kind of a catalog thing where they take seasons 1 to 13. Um, I don't think they would get the episodes the moment they come out on BBC One, but who knows? That would be perfect. I do
yeah.
I do have a subscription to Disney Plus, so that would make it a lot more accessible for me at least.
Yeah, because of course, like I've watched shows on Disney Plus, like like for example, The Walking Dead. I know it's off topic, but I would watch it a day later. It will come on to Disney Plus because of course that's all in America. I won't watch it as soon as it come out, and like people will be watching it that night, and it'll be the next morning for me. So they could do something like that, but it's just I think they they just want to know that it's just a platform to watch, not that the Disney doesn't own the show. Like it's still owned by the BBC and doing stuff like that. But it could open doors for maybe side shows because that's what it's known for. Disney Plus really like maybe side shows of a certain show. So I think Russell wants to do that, like bring back different shows that you could be watching. So there's more content for Doctor Who throughout the year.
Like the Doctor Who cinematic universe, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you've got
Oh
like
yeah,
phrase 1 to 4 or something like that. You could do.
that would be amazing. Or even getting like the episodes in the cinema once in a while. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I haven't seen that in years, and
I think it
I'm
was
not
the
sure.
50th last time.
Yeah, I'm not sure it even happened in Germany. I know it did in the UK.
Yeah, I didn't go when it was in because I don't like watching something when it's like a crowd. Um, like if there was no one on the show, and I'll go, but like not a lot of people because I guess that's part like autism. Like I don't like crowds, you know, like of really close. So, but it's good for the show, you know, going on and having a good audience. I know when they had the Spider-Man on last year, a lot of people were cheering when they saw the two Spider-Mans all together. So it'll be good. I think possibly Jodie's episode could possibly go in the cinema. Her last one.
That would be cool. Absolutely. And yeah, if you ever show on one of these streaming services, it opens it up to a whole new audience.
Yeah,
Obviously, with Doctor Who, there's always this added, you could say, problem from an outsider's perspective, that you don't know where to start. You're just overwhelmed with all the content that's already available. And I guess a lot of people just feel like, oh, I don't have the time for this, when they see like seasons 1 to 13. And when then you tell them, yeah, this is like the new Who has 13 seasons, but there's like a bazillion more of classic Who.
yeah, it would be so many. If they didn't revive it and they just continued it, it would be so many series.
Yeah,
And I haven't watched all of them. I've watched all of from New Who and onwards. But
yeah, me too.
but do you uh, what do you think could happen in Jodie's last episode, or what do you want to happen? Do you think with the last episode for her?
Oh, I mean, there's this whole timeless children thing where we did get this hint that there's still something that she doesn't know about her past, but she like threw it away into the core of the TARDIS. So I would be shocked if that doesn't come up somehow in the final episode. I mean, if you have a USB stick with all the secrets in it and you throw it into the core of the TARDIS, of course it's gonna come back. It has to, or otherwise, I don't know. So I'm really interested to hear what Chris Chibnall has planned for that.
Yes.
And then
surprises.
Oh yeah, all the surprises. And then I'm really very interested to see whose face it's going to be. I mean, obviously we know that Ncuit is the 14th Doctor or the next Doctor, whatever. But since we know that David Tennant is coming back, it would be pretty crazy if she did regenerate into David Tennant for some reason. And it was like he didn't want to go and he's back because he's got business left to do. Something like that.
It makes sense in a way because depending on when the Ncuit Gatwa series airs, if they're planning to do the whole year based on 60th anniversary, then possibly that could be next year. But if they want to do the series straight away afterwards, maybe like similar times what they did Fluxing. But what I would like to see a companion portray, like maybe Yaz portrayed the 13th Doctor or something. Like it'll be a good plot twist.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Actually,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wouldn't like that, but
Yeah.
it would be interesting to see. It would completely change the dynamic.
Yeah, I would like the Master to the Sasha Dewan to actually continue on to the next Doctor. Um, I know it doesn't really happen. The Master just goes and it's like kind of regenerates with whoever the next one's going to be. But I would like that.
Yeah, the thing is, another reason why the switch from Christopher Eccleston to David Tennant went so well was because we had Rose to tie them together,
Yeah,
So it wasn't like a complete change where we get a new Doctor and a new companion and everything. So of course, if you have the Sasha Master continue on, you could have him to tie the two new eras together.
yeah.
So that could work
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah, it would make sense because, like, even though like there's rumors that possibly could be David Tennant, if it is, I would still probably because it is our Doctor, like I'll be probably I might shout at the TV or say something like yes, or like a celebration. It'd be like maybe like a football team winning, like
Yeah.
or your team that you like scoring a goal or winning a competition. Be like that. But it's also good. It's good for the show. David Tennant's, I think now 51, and he's still coming back. But I am very excited for what the future has in store for Doctor Who.
I think we can be very excited. It's all the news we've been getting about what's about to come, things that are coming. It all sounds much better than what we could have hoped for.
Yeah,
I think if somebody had told me 2 years ago, yo, Russell T is coming back and he's bringing David Tennant back, I would be like, ah, yeah, sure. No chance. Stuff like that just doesn't happen, you know. But in Doctor Who, apparently it does. So we've never had one Doctor regenerate into a previous version of the Doctor before. Maybe this is the first time, or maybe it does go straight to Ncuit, and David Tennant is brought in through some other back door. Who knows what Russell T's got planned for that? That I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it would be interesting, you know, to see if that will happen. But I don't think it's that long to wait, really, is it now? Like we've waited long, but maybe it gets shorter by the days, like the wait to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But Borna, do you know much about autism? Because of course this series we've talked about autism too. So do you know much about it?
Not really. I mean, I know the basic things that people know about it, you know, like
Hmm.
I know it's a spectrum, and you
Yeah.
have like stronger cases and weaker cases. Um, then I know the stuff that we see in Hollywood movies where it isn't portrayed. I don't know if it's accurate. So who knows? I remember seeing Rain Man, of course, is the first movie that comes to mind, which is obviously a very extreme
Yeah.
version,
Yeah.
extreme portrayal. But I did read somewhere that they did have some form of consultation on that movie. So I don't know. Would you say that is an accurate representation of
Um.
a severe case?
With like Rayman, I haven't watched it myself, but I know like especially in the autism community, there's lots of um people who don't like it how it is portrayed like in Rayman because of like how it is portrayed, and not just that, like there's in programs it's not always portrayed right. Um, like you've got programs that like maybe put a bad set on it, and some do okay. Um, like one that I would say is good, like that you have a program called the Good Doctor. It has a portrays a person on the show, a doctor who's autistic, and you can really see that. And like but it's like with anything, you know, like if a show like that like displays someone who has a certain thing, they have to do it really right, and I think they have to really know about it. Um, like because the Doctor Who impacts quite a lot of people, but quite like I think with autism is people have really interests that like you really talk about. So you may just have one, and then for a long time. And like for me, Doctor Who for all the time since I was 5. I think yeah, 5. I was about yeah when that the revival came out. But yeah, it's different. Like you know, like not everyone has knowledge of it. There's like every country's different, you know. So like in your country is probably maybe it's possibly explained differently to my country, and my country probably explained different to another country. So each country I think has their own process how people know about it. And I guess it's like anything, you're only gonna know about it more if you possibly have it yourself, you know? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
and that is why I kind of did this series because like some people have autism, some people don't. And it's good because like I talk about you to tell a little bit about it. Maybe things you possibly didn't know, and other people and people who do, we kind of talk about like it'll be like the doctor shows a bit of course the doctor is an alien, but shows traits that they could be come across as an autistic person, how they do things. So for example, with autism, you have comfort like toys and stuff like that, and the sonic screwdriver for the doctor is their comfort, and it could come across like in an autism perspective that they like that, and like for the TARDIS, they always like to go there, It's like their home, like their comfort place. Maybe if they had a stressful day, and they like to go there. So there's lots of and I found Borna, like lots of people with autism like Doctor Who. And that's how I've kind of gained maybe a lot of friends in Doctor Who, because of the show. And the good thing about the series is, like, Doctor Who's a big thing. Like, if you go out and ask someone, "Do you know what Doctor Who is?" they go say yes, more or less, aren't they? And if you put another topic, maybe for autism, that they don't know much about it, it's going to be talked about because you're talking about an interest that everyone likes. Well, a lot of people like on the series, and then another thing that maybe you don't know as much. So putting the two together, I thought was a good idea. So it can gain awareness and acceptance for autism while talking about a show you love, you know?
I think that's a great idea that you had, and it works,
Yeah,
obviously. And I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, that's the beauty of Doctor Who, isn't it? It just brings people
definitely,
together.
definitely. Like like I said before, like we began like how people on here talking about dyspraxia because of course Ryan has dyspraxia and Doctor Who, how people felt about that, how that happened. Not everyone's entirely happy about it because with dyspraxia, um, I don't have it myself. I've just learned what people have told me. So you see, so like people come on and tell me things that I don't know 100%. So like people say like it's all about like coordination and in the show, they kind of display it just a bike, and some people have got offended by it because that it's not. They feel the story wasn't fulfilled at its best. Like, like it was done really quickly, and then he could ride a bike right when he left. So it was all kind of about, but not really explaining the ins and outs about what it is, which which had to be careful, I guess, about how they do these different things. And it's just like, oh, it would be great because with autism, people do find it hard to get jobs, you know? So it'll be nice, Doctor Who, for example, because maybe an autistic doctor in the future, like because you've got Yasmin Finney, who's a transgender actor, who's going to be portraying her role, I think, within the transgender community, which is good because like R- Ru- Russell kind of did those kind of things with like the series he's done before, like with like accepting different communities. So it's good that they're bringing that into Doctor Who, I think, as well. So it could lead a path in the future for autism or just other things, you know.
Mhm. I think Russell is the perfect guy to do this stuff. He he's very skilled in doing this sort of stuff in a very good way, because as you mentioned, there's millions of ways how you can try to talk about a subject like that, but not do it justice. But I feel that Russell T Davis is really good with this sort of stuff.
He is. He's great, you know. Um, like it's just it's awesome, and like of course, like the podcast isn't just generated about Doctor Who, but like it's hobbies, you know. Like we all have our hobbies about a certain topic that you want to talk about. It may be autism, it may be someone else, but you talk about your hobby and what you like. It kind of helps you talk about maybe yourself, you know. Um, I think it's good, and like we all like you talk about like what you've done like with your music is good, and like you hopefully you have to let me know on the um Madame de Pompadour one. So that'll be that is good fun, Borna.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I'd love to do at some point. Obviously, I'm more and more busy with other stuff. So
Of course.
lately, uh, still in the Doctor Who universe, because I couldn't find the time to do many covers in these last few months because I was working on a big Finnish thing where I don't know if you've heard it. It's the new Unit Brave New World series.
Hmm.
Have you
I,
heard about that?
I saw something that like a video that you put like a trailer video, I think.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just released that recently. It's another Emily Cook production. So she was brilliant as she is. She had this idea that my kind of music style would be fitting this version of Doctor Who universe that she's trying to create, and it's all based on Brigadier Bambera. Did you watch a bit of Classic Who?
I know who he is. Like, I didn't watch Classic Who, but I do know who it is. So I know who you mean.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, I can tell you that, because I think the stories are great, the acting is fantastic, and I really got the opportunity to go completely wild with the music on that one. And yeah, so that was a lot of work, a lot of fun. We're doing another, like a second box set later this year, which is scheduled for December, which will keep me busy again. But I'm still hoping to find some time in the middle where I can do more covers.
Yeah.
Among all these other productions that I'm doing.
Yeah, it's all exciting stuff, you know. Like, you have to keep me updated, or like, it's good. Like, you do this stuff, Borna. But what is your quote that you relate to in Doctor Who, Borna?
That is a great question. I think there are lots of great quotes in the show, because we've had a few very skilled writers that are very good with words, and of course great actors who were able to portray these words in a very meaningful way. So is this about my favorite quote, or about like something that I relate to?
Well, it can be a quote that you relate to, or your favorite quote. So if there's two different ones, you can say them both, or
So the first one that comes to mind is "I don't want to go."
Oh yeah.
I think I've seen some criticism about this line from people that thought it was too much in that space. I didn't feel like that, but apart from that, I think the quote itself is very powerful, and kind of a summary of what you would think in such a moment, you know. I think all of us have this inside us, that we feel like we need more time. We are not finished here yet, and we don't want to go. Or the other line that he said, an episode, was it an episode before that, or was it the same episode where David Tennant basically realized what was about to happen, and he started yelling, "I could have done so much more." Like, this is really heartbreaking stuff that you just hope that you're never gonna get into a position where you have to think or say something like this. But on a more uplifting note, there's this other quote that Peter Capaldi said, where it's like, it's kind of the perfect response to the "I don't want to go" thing. It's everything ends, and that is always sad, but everything begins again too, and that is always happy. Be happy.
Yeah, that I like that one. I like them both. Like, like, I think the difference between the two is that Peter Capaldi let the Doctor go with David Tennant didn't want him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he's back, you know. Maybe he's back to let himself go.
Yes.
Because I can't see him. I can see, for most people in the 60th or Joe's last episode, being there, maybe last for time for a while. You never know what the future has in store for Doctor Who. Anything can happen, but I think it maybe leaves the line for the future for Undershooty and beyond, and like memorable characters that we can just go forward with, not like backwards. Like we are going to probably with David Tennant, Catherine Tate, and that also leads for characters coming back, for them possibly to do their own little shows or something. If they do go into that kind of Marvel setup, which will be interesting. Like to have the phase 1, 2, 3, 4, all these great things. But yeah, I really like those quotes, because Peter Capaldi has some great speeches, and David Tennant has some great quotes. They're very meaningful as well.
I got a third one.
The third one.
Third one. How about this one? I'm burning up a sun just to say goodbye.
Oh yeah, that one.
I mean, it's not something I can really relate to on this grand scale, but it's just a very, very cool line and cool idea that he's doing this, and something that I think perfectly sums up the kind of over the top epic romance that only Russell T Davies can come up with.
Yeah, I loved it. You know, like it was sad, and like Rose's character was great, and like I can't. It was just sad, you know, that like when like David Tennant was even crying, like his character was crying, in the TARDIS, and of course when acting he was actually there, but when he says I'm not really here, but he is really, but they just do all these special effects, don't they, on the beach, but yeah, it's a another great quote there, boy. Um, but it's been great to speak to you like about Doctor Who, a bit about autism as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, this is my first podcast and it's been very fun.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again at some time because it's been great fun. Um, but to anyone listening and watching, that I said at the beginning, this is kind of the finale episode of the Doctor Who and Autism series. Um, I'm not sure, like because it's done really well, and it's been lots of people have enjoyed it, and there've been so many episodes. I think Borna asked me before, like how many episodes done. um, but yeah, I think not sure when if I'm sure there will be a series 2 to it, but I'm not sure when that will take place. Most likely, maybe in a few years, maybe once the 60th anniversary has been, or Ncuit Gatwa's done 1 or 2 series, and then we can be back. But there's always going to be like hobbies involved in the podcast anyway. So again, thank you, Borna. It's been great speaking to you.
It's a pleasure, Mason.